Okay. Hey everybody, what's up? It's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel, Real Talk Recovery, where we talk about recovery from addiction and I share my life with you. My name is Nicole and I'm an addict, and my sobriety date is July 13th of 2015, and I'm currently on medically assisted treatment and tapering in a taper program with my doctor. So, what's up? That's me. I'm Nicole. I am super excited to do tonight's meeting with you guys. I haven't really done like a scheduled live stream this week where I like sat down and like talked to you guys about, you know, a topic that we had picked to discuss. So I'm excited to do that with y'all tonight. Now, it's like 100 degrees out, you guys. So I'm going to pull up my hair because it's just so hot. I cannot be bothered. But I wanted to kind of look nice for you guys today, but so much for that, right? So tonight I want to talk to you guys about, hey Megan. So, okay, first of all, I cut my finger on the blender. It hurts so bad, you guys. First of all, if you haven't already, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Really quickly, just give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. If you have any friends that, you know, you think need help, or they might feel like they're all alone, invite them over here. We welcome all people in recovery. It doesn't matter how you get sober. All that matters is that you're on that journey. So anybody and everybody is welcome here on Real Talk Recovery. So tonight, you guys, I want to talk about addiction and the debate that a lot of people have about whether addiction is a disease or a choice. Now, I'm going to go ahead and state that it's already been proven that addiction is a disease, right? We know that it's been proven by the Center for Disease Control. It's in the DSM-5. It's already, you know, been proven that it is a disease, mental illness, mental disorder, whatever you want to say, but it's already been proven. But a lot of people will argue about whether or not it's a disease or a choice. So I want to talk about that. And I want to talk to you guys about how, okay, so saying that addiction is a disease is not relinquishing responsibility to the addict, right? Like, I take full responsibility for the things that I did while I was in active addiction. I take full responsibility for trying dope for the first time, right? When I first used drugs and alcohol, you guys, I had no idea that it was going to take me down the road that it took me. I had no idea that I was going to take, you know, pain pills and try cocaine, and that it was going to set this craving off inside my brain, because that's what happened. And none of us know that, right? Unless you come from like a family where addiction runs in your family and somebody told you about it at a young age, then we don't know that, you know? And so I guess that's what I'm kind of trying to do in my family, is educate, you know, my sister, my younger sisters, my baby sister, and then my son, and then my nephew. I'm trying to educate them early on, you guys, so that way they are armed with the facts about their disease, okay? About the potential of having the disease of addiction. Because I think that if I had taken it a little bit more seriously and listened to what my mom was telling me about my aunts and uncles being alcoholics and addicts, you know, maybe it would have stopped me from getting on drugs. But I can't change what happened. The only thing I can do now is work on helping my family members and protecting them from it happening to them. And so that's why I work really hard, hey Barry, on trying to educate, you know, my little boy and educate the rest of our family, because the disease of addiction runs in our family, you guys. My aunts, my uncles, on my mom and my dad's side are all addicts, you know. Thank you, Megan. And You know what I want to know, you guys? Where is everybody at? There we go. Okay, so a lot of people like to argue about addiction being a choice. Oh, well, that person chose to do that drug. That person chose to get high, right? Well, yeah, the person chooses the action, right? But they don't choose what comes after that. And that's the disease of addiction, okay? So let me explain it to you like this. Before I ever picked up a drink or a drug, before I ever did it for the first time, that disease was sitting inside of me, laying dormant. I didn't even know it was there, right? It's kind of like an allergy, okay? You'll hear a lot of people compare addiction to an allergy. So, you know how if you have an allergic reaction to peanuts, before you know that you have that allergy, you don't know that it's there unless you pick up some peanuts and get to eating on them, and then your throat swells up, right? That's kind of how it is with the disease of addiction. You don't know that you have the disease of addiction. Oh, I'm bleeding. Until you pick up, my finger hurts so bad, until you pick up that first drink or drug, right? And then what happens is that allergy shows itself in the form of the obsession to use, right? So when an addict picks up for the first time and they first use alcohol and drugs, their response to alcohol and drugs is different than the response of a person who does not have the disease of addiction. Okay? A normal person will pick up for the first time and they'll say, I don't like the way this makes me feel. I feel out of control. I can't handle this. But an addict, when they pick up for the first time and they use drugs and alcohol for the first time, it sparks the pleasure sensor in their brain, and that just starts lighting up. And it says, I like it, I want some more, right? And that's what happens is we start using and getting out of control before we even realize it's a problem. Hold on, guys. My finger's bleeding. Cut myself. Okay. And so that's the thing about it, is that before we even realize that we have a problem, it's already we're already in so deep, you know, we've already, okay. And so then what happens is that obsession to use, it grows bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And, you know, when we're young and we're trying out drugs and alcohol and we're getting high with our friends, or we're smoking or drinking and partying after a football game. Hey, Candy. Everything is just fun and games, right? Hey, Kim. Okay, I'm so glad you guys are here. All right. Good deal, you guys. Okay, so we're talking about the disease of addiction, you guys, and how it is not something that a person chooses, right? Like, yes, I did. I thought I texted you on the Hangouts and told you guys that I actually packaged up 4 packages and mailed them all out. So you got one coming, Sophia's got one coming, and then 2 other people. Girl, let me just tell y'all. I had to go in there. Let me break away for a second. I had to go in there and get them dang boxes. Then I had to get the bubble wrap. Woo! Oh my gosh, look at my finger. It's bleeding so bad. Okay. But I mailed it off. I just actually did it this afternoon when me and Nate came here and picked up all the stuff. Hey, Annie. So the people that I was mailing stuff out to, you guys, those packages should be coming. What's today? Friday. So they'll probably be there. I think he said like Monday or Tuesday. So just be looking out for them, okay? And I marked yours fragile, okay, Candy? So I remember you told me to do that. I will, Kim. I will. Hey, Cindy. Oh, good. Everybody's here. Okay, so I'm going to kind of pause for a second because everybody's getting back in here. So what we're talking about, you guys, we're talking about addiction being a disease and not a choice, okay? And so I totally agree with the fact that, you know, that first time we pick up the first drink or a drug, that is a choice that we make, right? Like when I was younger and I was hanging out and I thought it was cool and I was trying to fit in and I was trying to be popular, right? I thought, okay, everybody else is smoking pot, so I'm going to smoke pot. Or everybody else is partying, I'm going to party, right? And so that first time I picked up, that was a choice that I made, okay? But what happens with the disease of addiction is we gradually lose the power of choice when we are using drugs and alcohol, okay, guys? Okay, so when you're first beginning, okay, before you even know that you're addicted, all right? Because a lot of us start out and we're just having a good time. We can leave it alone. I can stop whenever I want. What are you talking about? I don't have a problem. I'm just having a good time, right? We're just having a good time. We're just blowing off some steam. You know, I only drink on the weekends. All that stuff. Y'all know what I mean? And so it starts out like that for so many of us. You guys, when I first started getting high and drunk, I was a weekend warrior. Your girl was out there every Friday, Saturday, even on Sundays sometimes. And then by Monday, I was back on my grind, going to school, doing my job, doing what I was supposed to be doing, right? That's how it started out, okay? And so I was doing my weekend warrior grind, partying on the weekends, having a good time. And what happens is the disease of addiction is so cunning, baffling, and powerful. And it's also very progressive, okay? So once you start drinking and drugging, you don't rewind and go backwards, okay? Once you meet a certain threshold, like maybe let's use examples, okay? So let's use alcohol and heroin, okay? When you start using alcohol and drinking, you don't revert back. You don't say, oh, I started out drinking 20 shots at a time. Now I'm going to step back and only do 10. You gradually work your way up to where you're drinking more and more and more and more. Because what happens? Your tolerance level grows, right? And so as that tolerance level grows, you need more and more alcohol to get that same feeling that you first got when you first ever drank, okay? Same with heroin, okay? When you first started tooting or smoking heroin, you could start out and do you a little, little piece, all right? And then you work your way up to a gram, and then you're doing 2 grams, and then you're doing bundles, and all that those different bag terms that y'all use. I only shot heroin 3 times, so I'm not too familiar with it. But I know that you work your way up, right? Okay, so Kim, so when you're 36 years old and you get put on pain pills, and remember when you first started taking pain pills, maybe 1 or 2 of them worked, right? 1 or 2 of them would ease the pain. It would give you that little bit of energy, and you could get stuff done around the house, right? But as your tolerance grew, you needed to take more and more and more pills, right? And then the more pills you took, you started realizing, hey, they're not doing it for me like they used to, right? They're not giving me that pep in my step that they used to. I'm not getting that. That's what happened. What happens is as the disease progresses and as we lose more and more power of choice, right? As that power of choice slowly gets stripped away, and we're not even realizing it's happening, okay? Because we're in active addiction and we're actively using, okay? And what we're doing is we're just compiling more and more and more to get to where we got when we first started, okay? That's how progressive the disease is. And slowly but surely, you wake up and it's been a year or 2, and you're taking mass quantities. You're shooting up every hour on the hour. You're snorting all the time, right? And that's what it is. It's progressive. It gets worse, never better. That's why we have to get into recovery to make our lives better. Because if we don't start working on sobering up and getting our lives together or getting in some kind of treatment program, then our disease will continue to progress, and we will use until we die. But that's where I want you guys to see that when you first pick up, that was the first choice you made. That was the first and last time you ever had a say in whether you got high or not. Because what happens over time, you lose the power of choice, okay? And what happens is you're no longer making those decisions. The drugs and the alcohol are making the decisions. The pills are making the decisions. The heroin is making the decisions, okay? Let me give you an example, all right? So a lot of us, like, I pride myself on being like a very, very good mom and an attentive partner to my husband, right? But as my addiction progressed, what my disease, and I eventually began to choose the pills and the addiction over my loved ones and my relationships, because those pills and those substances they took precedent over everything, right? Because they had control over me. My addiction had control over me. Those pills, they made my choices for me, right? I had no say in it anymore because I had gotten so far out there in my addiction that I lost the will to live. I lost the will to fight. And that's what happens to us, is we give up because we lose that power to live. We don't want to live anymore. We are miserable. Yes, Sonia. And when I look back on that, you guys, and I see the person that I was when I was in active addiction, and then I see myself now, sometimes when I think about it, you guys, I cry my eyes out because I think about, I can't ever imagine. I know that I was like that. I know that that drugs took over my life, okay? But the difference between me and my active addiction and me now is it's night and day. It's night and day. I have my mom back in my life, you guys. Do you guys understand that when I was in active addiction, I didn't talk to my mom. I ran from my mom. I hid from my mom because I was afraid, because she knew. My mom, she doesn't take no shit. And when she would see me, she would call me on my bullshit. So I ran from her and I hid because I didn't want her to see me like that. I didn't want her to know, because I knew she was going to call me on my shit. I knew she was going to tell me I needed to get my act together. And I didn't want to hear that. You know, I was beating myself down. When I was in active addiction, I beat myself down. I talked down to myself. I had no hope. I had no hope. I thought that I was going to die a drug addict. I had come to terms with the fact that I would probably die out there in them streets. You know? And when you come to the terms with the fact that you're going to let yourself die, that's not a good place to be. Because there's nowhere else to go, right? When you become okay with death and you're not afraid and you're just like, meh, it is what it is. That's a miserable existence. Yes, I did the same. I ran and hid from my brother. It's something I struggle with every day now that he's passed away. Megan, I know you do, girl. I know you do. You know what? Since we're talking about, so this is what happens to addicts, you guys, is that power of choice that we had when we first started, we lose that, okay? Because of the progressiveness of the illness, because the substances hijack our brains, okay? And we're no longer, this is, up here is not the same sane mind that I started out with back when I was 17 years old. Hey, Avery, I'm so glad you're here. Whoop, whoop. Yes, you guys, shout out to Avery. Listen to me, you guys. People invited her to a party tonight. And instead of going to the party, she's coming to the live stream to hang out with us. So that's what's up. I'm proud of you, girl. I'm proud of you. You're making the right choice. And slowly but surely, you guys, that's what we got to do. It's just little choices that we're making each day towards a better us, okay? So we're not going to be able to make all the choices in one day, right? You guys, I couldn't right all my wrongs in one day. I was in active addiction. We are, girl. I was in active addiction from the time I was 17 till the time I was 32. That's a lot of fucking up. That's a lot of screw ups, you guys. I screwed up a lot. Okay, I made a lot of mistakes. I hurt a lot of people, right? When I first got sober, I thought, I've got to make everything right. I've got to get in touch with everybody I ever hurt, and I've got to make amends, and I've got to turn it all around right away, right? And I'm sure some of you guys are thinking that same thing. You feel a lot of shame, you feel a lot of guilt, and you want to go out and you want to make it right, right? No. Wrong. Stop. It's not time. Wait. Chill out. First, what we got to do is we got to take care of ourselves, okay? And we have to learn to retrain our brain to make better choices now, okay? Now that our brains are not overtaken by substances, now that we are not poisoned with drugs and alcohol, now we have a clean slate, and now we can make healthy choices, okay? See, as long as we don't have drugs and alcohol in our bodies, we can make good decisions, right? And as long as we don't have drugs and alcohol in our bodies, if we don't know what choice to make, God has given us will and brains to use. And that's why when we first get sober, you guys, it's so important to get linked up with somebody that can help guide you, right? Because when I first got sober, you guys, I couldn't make good decisions, okay? Oh, Avery, I understand. When I first got sober, you guys, I wanted to fix everything all at one time. I wanted to go back to college right away. I wanted to get my son back. I wanted to do all these things. I had all these goals, right? And what I was doing was I was overwhelming myself. And then with overwhelming myself would come extra stress. And then extra stress would happen and I would be triggered, okay? And then that leads me back to relapse. You know what I'm saying? And so when I got sober, I had to start learning that, listen, someone else has got to help me on this path. So I got a sponsor and I started asking her, hey, do you think it's a good idea? Do you think I should go back to college right now? And that's when she told me, in the first year of your sobriety, you don't need to make any big changes, okay? What you need to do your first year of sobriety. So listen up, you guys. If you're in your first year of sobriety, this is what you need to do. You need to work on getting gainful employment. Oh, thanks, Avery. Love you. We love you too, girl. I really appreciate it. You don't ever have to do that, but I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay. I always get nervous whenever I see that. I love you guys. Thank you, girl. So anyway, in your first year of sobriety, you guys, there's things that you need to focus on, right, when you're first getting started. So you don't overwhelm yourself and you make small goals to accomplish one thing at a time, all right? This is a surefire way to keep you on the right path, okay? You get yourself a strong support team, okay? If you're a woman, that's right, girl. If you're a woman, you get you some other women that are strong in their sobriety, and you connect with those women, okay? And you let those women know, hey, I need your support. I'm trying to stay sober. I want to change my life, okay? That's the first thing you need to do, is get a support system, all right? Get yourself a support system and a sponsor. And then what you need to start working on is following through with some recovery meetings, whether it's therapy, whether it's 12-step meetings. Now, there's all kinds of different things that you can incorporate into your daily routine, you guys, that are, some kind of recovery meetings. Like right now, what we're doing here on my channel, I count this as like a recovery meeting. What we do over on the Facebook group when Candy does the morning meditation, I count that as a little meeting. That's like a little morning meditation meeting, right? Because what you're doing is you're putting in effort for your recovery at that time. Even if it's just 30 minutes or an hour, you guys, that's recovery time that you're putting in for that day. Okay, and that's really important. So when I first started out, I got myself that support system, got myself a sponsor, and I started putting in effort and doing time for my recovery each day. Okay? And then get yourself a job. It doesn't matter if it's full-time, it doesn't matter if it's part-time. But start looking for yourself a little job, right? So that way you can build your self-confidence up. You can feel better about yourself because you guys, we all want to be responsible and be able to take care of ourselves, right? And so it's slow going. When I first started out, I was working at a little sandwich shop, y'all. A little sandwich shop down the street. Good, Candy. Okay, girl. I had a very bad experience with a sponsor gossiping about me with other women. Oh, okay. So Avery, let me tell you about that. Excuse me. I am so sorry that you had a bad experience with somebody like that. That is not the way that it's supposed to be. When you talk with your sponsor, whatever you talk to her about is supposed to be kept confidential between you and her. I can reassure you and promise you that in our little group that will never happen, and that anything that you talk to with about to us or to me will never get repeated. I'm so sorry that happened. And sometimes I hear about these things happening, but I don't hear about it a lot, but I hear about it sometimes, and it makes me sad because what it does is it turns people away. Okay? So what we're starting to do here is we're starting to do Mara meetings, you guys. And I know a lot of you guys don't know what Mara is, and I'm going to explain it to you right now. His smoker. Oh, Krissy, you better not touch it. What's said in here stays in here, okay? And what's said in our Patreon stays in our Patreon. What's said on our group chat in Real Talk Recovery stays in Real Talk Recovery, you guys. Because here's the deal, I love you guys so much. I would never, ever, ever break that bond that I have with you guys. And I want us all to be able to trust each other, okay? Now, here on my channel, when we're doing these meetings, the chat is live, okay? Apparently, there were sponsor sisters, so anyone who had her, we were all set up with sisters. It was all, oh, I know what you're talking about. Yes. So it's like a sponsorship family. Okay, so like my sponsor, she has a sponsor, and that's my grand sponsor. I totally know what you mean. Okay, yeah. But still, like, here's the thing. If somebody trusts me with something and they specifically, I know that they're trusting me with information that's very confidential, that they don't, then I make sure, I just don't repeat it. It's just not something I do, Right, Avery. Totally, yeah. Well, you know what? I know that you got burned in that situation, but this is what I want you to do. Can you do this for me? Can you try and keep an open mind that maybe, you know what, we're going to pray and we're going to do some like soul searching, and you know what? You might not get a sponsor, but we're going to find you somebody, an accountability partner that you can check in with once a day and just kind of say, hey, I'm just checking in. It's me. Okay? Because that's the thing, you guys. Like, here on my channel, I want to work with you guys as much as I can, right? And what I will do for each one of you guys, if you're going to reach out to me, I will be your accountability partner. But you have to reach out to me. And see, what happens is I offer to help people and help them be accountable. Thank you, Candy. And Candy is also somebody you guys can reach out to. Candy does the meditations on my channel, and she's doing such a good job. I work with Candy one-on-one, and I trust Candy. So if you guys need somebody that you need to talk to, you can always talk to Candy. She's in the recovery, Real Talk Recovery group all the time. Candy even started her own channel, you guys, and y'all should go over there and support her because she's one of us, Candy's recovery journey. And that's what this is all about, you guys. Like, this isn't about like being popular. This is like, for real, seriously, like, we are all struggling with a disease that's deadly, okay? And it could kill us, all right? If we make a bad choice and we go out and screw up, we could die, all right? And so it's really important that we need to leave principles and personalities, right? Principles before personalities, okay? So there's some people that I don't get along with them that great, right? Hey, self name. But that doesn't mean that they're not welcome. Like, if somebody wants to come in here and be respectful, like, I always want people to be here and not feel like they're judged, okay? I respect all recovery. Whatever you're doing to stay clean and sober, I'm proud of you, and I want you to keep on doing it, okay? So what we have to do is do not get discouraged, okay, guys? If you've had somebody who has broken your trust, and it's happened with a sponsor, I want you to promise me that you're not going to get discouraged and you're not going to hold that judgment against people in the future, okay? Because what this is that's our addiction trying to keep us from getting the help that we need, all right? My addiction wants me to not trust any other people, right? My addiction wants me to say, well, my last sponsor screwed me over, so I'm not going to fool with y'all anymore, right? That's what the disease of addiction does, okay? And then what that does is it shuts me off. I'm isolating because I'm not going to open up to you. I'm not going to tell you about my problems. I'm not going to call you. I don't need you. I can do this on my own, right? That's what my disease tells me all the time. My disease is like, you don't need to... Why are you calling all these folks? You don't need to be talking to them. You can do this on your own. This is too much of a hassle, right? That's what my disease tells me. Oh no, I recently relapsed because I got ripped off for a car from a friend. Oh my God. So your whole car's gone? Hey lab girl, what's up? Thank you, baby. I appreciate you too. That's the thing, you guys. And so listen, self-name. I know that sounds like it sucks, right? But not all people are bad people. And I keep on having to tell myself that because listen, you guys, in sobriety, we need people. We need each other. We need each other for support. Okay, not everyone is going to be a bad person. Also, I have to learn how to make good choices in the people that I surround myself with. Okay, that's why I tell you guys, if you're early in your sobriety, hey Misty, it's okay. It's okay. Come on in, girl. Come on in. That's why I tell you guys, if you're early in your sobriety, I want you to search for other people who've got more time than you, okay? If you're a woman, go out there and find you some women who've been sober for a couple of years and start hanging out with them, okay? If you're a man, find you some guys who've been sober for a couple of years and start hanging out with them. I promise you guys are going to start realizing this. If you surround yourself with people who are a little bit ahead of you, okay, what's going to start happening is they're going to kind of show you the way. A lot of the chaos and drama that happens it happens because we have people, we're all in different parts of our recovery, right? So you might have somebody over here who's got 3 months sober, somebody over here who got 2 years sober, and somebody right here in the middle who's got 6 months sober, right? And then sprinkled in 30 days, 20 days, 1 day, 10 years, blah, 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 right? Every person is at a different place in their sobriety. All of us are sick people trying to get better, okay? We're all human. Some of us are a little bit farther ahead in our healing journey, though, okay? So what have we learned? That hurt people, okay? So a lot of the things that happens that we can get hurt, it's because somebody else is struggling. 9 times out of 10, you guys, when someone else hurts you, they're going through something. And it has nothing to do with you. Okay? I have to remind myself this all the time because I work with a lot of people that are early on in their sobriety. Okay? I get a lot of shit from people that struggle in their recovery. And I'll have people mad at me, texting me, telling me this, telling me that, right? You guys, listen to me, okay? Some people don't understand that I'm trying to change my life, right? I'm trying to be a better person in all aspects of my recovery. Not just in the fact where I'm trying to stay off drugs, okay? That's what recovery is about, okay? Getting sober and staying off drugs, that's just the tip of the iceberg, baby. That's just the beginning. There are so many behaviors that I learned in active addiction that I have to change now in sobriety. Okay? Just because I've been sober for a couple of years doesn't mean I'm better. Okay? It doesn't mean I'm better than anybody, right? I still struggle every single day. I struggle with character defects. I struggle with gossip. I struggle with drama. I struggle with self-doubt. I struggle with insecurities. I struggle with looking at myself in the mirror and not thinking I'm good enough. You guys, I'm telling you this right now. I struggle every single day. I'm trying to be a better person one day at a time. If we can all just promise that we're going to try and get better and do better, but that's the thing, you guys, not all of us, not everyone's trying to get better, okay? Some people are happy with just being off drugs, okay? But that's the thing. Drugs and alcohol, they caused me a lot of chaos and pain in my life. But that was just the beginning. Okay, I had so much more struggles than just using dope. Girl, I cut it on the blender, look. Cut it right on it sliced it right open. It hurt too. I was making a smoothie. Getting sober, you guys, is it's a huge accomplishment. But there's so much more work that we have to put in to being a better person inside of us, right? So when you take away the drugs and the alcohol, what happens to a lot of people, and I'm sure you guys have seen this, is they get miserable because they no longer have that substance that was giving them that relief. So now they're sober and they're miserable, and they'll do anything in their power to make every other person's life a living hell because they're miserable, but they're not on drugs. I don't want to be like that. I want to be sober and happy. And that's why I've gotten involved in helping and giving back to others, because it has taught me, the 12 steps have taught me that giving back what was given to me, it helps change my life. Oh, Kim, yes, girl, I would love for you to do that. Absolutely. Please do that. Yes. You can share it in any recovery groups that you're in. Or on your regular page, whatever you feel like you want to do. You guys, I'm telling you, and I have to remind myself this because I get so upset, you guys. I'm like, why is this happening? Why is this happening to me? I tried to do this, or I tried to help this person, right? All I wanted to do was help them stay sober, and why are they? You guys, not everyone is where we're at. Not everyone is trying to get there. Some people just get off drugs and their lives are shit, and they never change after that, right? And they're miserable, okay? We don't have to live our life like that, though. Today we have a program set in place where we can start changing our lives, and we can live our lives better one day at a time, right? And we can learn how to change those old behaviors that we once practiced for so many years. There's also people that have been in active addiction so long, when they get sober, they're older in age, but with the same mentality as right before addiction. Yes, Sonia. So a lot of times say like I started drugs when I was 17. A lot of the times, you guys, I will say, I'm 17-year-old Nicole still. Because when I started using, it stunted my mental, my growth, my maturity. And I finally started to realize that, like, using drugs and alcohol, you guys, it really does change everything upstairs in our brains, And so that's why so many of us struggle with, like, depression and anxiety once we get sober, right? And that's why I want to encourage you guys, like, yes, that's why I want to encourage you guys. If you get sober and you've been sober for a year or longer and you're still struggling with a lot of depression and a lot of anxiety, right? I want you to get an appointment with your doctor and go get checked out. Yes, exactly, Sherry. Emotional growth. That's right. And so that's another thing that we talk about a lot over here, you guys, is emotional sobriety. Okay, I know you're probably going, what is that? Okay, so as we grow and as we stay sober and as we learn more about ourselves, we learn and we grow emotionally, right? And that emotional sobriety gets better and better one day at a time. But just like with our addiction, it's like we grow slowly but surely. My emotional sobriety, and I'm sure you guys have probably noticed this, is that one thing that I struggle with is my emotions. I don't struggle with having them because I have them. I struggle with being, I don't know how you could say this. I'm just so sensitive. When I can feel other people's pain, when somebody tells their story and they're sharing about, losing their children or, getting hurt when they were in their active addiction, I can feel exactly what they're saying. Like, I can relate to it so much, I'll just start sobbing my eyes out. And I can feel what they're feeling. You know what I mean? And so, since I've gotten sober, I cry so much, you guys. But it's not like I hate it. I love it. I love being able to feel feelings again. I love being able to look at my son and feel joy in my heart because he's growing and he's becoming smarter and he's like flourishing right in front of my eyes, right? And when I was in active addiction, I couldn't feel those feelings. When I was in active addiction, I just stuffed those feelings down and stuffed them down. I didn't want to feel those feelings. I was afraid of feeling. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? When my feelings would get too strong and they would start cropping up like that, I would get higher to push them back down, I pride myself on the way I am vulnerable on my channel. I don't see a lot of people who will come on here and just bear it all, and that is one thing that I pride myself on being authentic to who I am. You might think that I'm a baby. You might think I cry too much. You might think that I'm Looney Tunes. But you guys, it's because so many years I blocked out feelings. So many years I got so high to where I was damn near dead. It's like today I am so damn grateful to feel feelings. I'm so damn grateful to be alive. So from now on, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I'm going to start posting what I'm grateful for at night on the Facebook page. Yes, same, yes. And so on the Facebook page last night, I was talking about how I'm just grateful that I can go to bed at night and I can know that my son's taken care of, my husband's happy, I have my family back in my life, I have a roof over my head, I got food in my belly, right? Because there were nights in my active addiction where I went to bed and I didn't have damn nothing to eat. Exactly. I didn't have one morsel of food to eat. Not even a crumb, y'all. There were nights when I would go to sleep and I didn't have a bed to sleep in. I was either sleeping out behind a dumpster, on somebody's couch, on the floor, on an air mattress that has been popped. That was my life, you guys, in active addiction. So when I look back on that, and that's what we all need to start remembering, okay? So if you're having a shitty day, right, and you're like, fuck this, my life sucks, I don't want to stay sober anymore, this is not worth it, I'm tired of this shit, people don't understand, everybody's against me, right? How many of you have thought that and said those things? Everybody's against me, I might as well just die. I'm better off left out here all by myself and leave, right? If you're thinking that way and you feel that way, and that's called self-pity, okay? I know because I do it sometimes. Self-pity. And man, let me tell y'all, I will beat myself up with some self-pity. If you are doing that to yourself, stop it right now. Pull your head up out of the fucking hole like a turtle, okay? Pull your head out of the hole. And I want you to look at that sunshine up there. I want you to look inside your house. I want you to feel the air condition on you. Okay? I want you to look at that fucking hot dog you're eating, or that tuna salad, or that burrito. Okay? There is something that I had to learn, you guys, and it was hard for me because I was so angry at myself, and I had so much resentment at myself. Okay? I was mad at myself. I was like, how could I have let myself get this way? How could I have done this? How could I have done that? You know, I was blaming myself, guilt and shame. I finally had to start realizing, like, Nicole, this is not getting you anywhere. Beating myself down, feeling sorry for myself, punching myself, using myself as a punching bag. I was getting nowhere fast, you guys. It was tearing my life apart, right? And these people would tell me, they would say, you got to change the way you think. You got to start looking at the glass as half full instead of halfway empty, right? And I was like, fuck that, man. They don't know what they're talking about. That positivity bullshit, that doesn't work. Gratitude for what, right? I got so damn miserable that I finally said, you know what? I'm going to try it. I'm going to try to change my thinking. I'm going to try and look at this glass as halfway full, right? I'm going to try and look at my situation and my surroundings and look at the things I have that could make it better, you know, see it from a different perspective. Do you know what? It works. It works. It fucking works. It changed my life. I wake up every single morning. And I look over at my son and I see him laying in his bed. And I thank God every single morning because I remember a time where he wasn't laying there. I remember a time where I didn't have him. I look at my house and I think, I remember a time where I didn't have a roof over my head. I remember a time when nobody wanted to hear what I had to say because they couldn't trust me. And now people depend on me. And I'm a part of something. And that changed my life. Just looking at life from a different point of view changed my life forever. I used to dread going into my job. You know what I do now? I'm whistling while I work because I have a job. I have a job that I love doing. I have this channel that I love to do, right? And I used to think, I'm never going to be anything. I'm never going to be good on YouTube. Nobody's going to give a care. Why do I even do this? And I just flipped my attitude, you guys. I just changed the way I thought. Just flipped it to the other side. And it has changed my life. It has changed my life. We really all do have so much to be grateful for. Even if you're in active addiction and you're sitting here watching a video about sobriety and recovery, then you have hope. Okay? If you're hanging out on a Friday night and you're not out at a party getting fucked up, drunk, and high, then you have hope. There's a chance, right? Hi, daughter. She left for sleepaway camp today. I'm working on getting custody of my girl. It's all I want to have her with me. I regret choosing drugs over her. Will she forgive me one day? Absolutely. Absolutely. She will forgive you. I promise you. And you know what, Avery? The fact that you're working to get better and that you realize that you have made mistakes, that's the very beginning. You're just starting out. And you know what? I used to feel the same way. Okay? I used to think my little boy is going to be scarred for life, right? He's going to be traumatized. He's never going to want to be around me again. I would sob and cry my eyes out. I'm going to tell you this right now. Children, they are so resilient. And all they want is us. All they want is us. You know, it's time to make the proper changes so we can be a part of them, right? When my son got taken away from me, it was tragic, okay? But it was the wake-up call I needed to make the changes I had to make. You know, I'm not proud of the things I did, but I was sick. I was sick in my addiction, and drugs had a hold on me. Drugs controlled my life. You know, and I'm sure that was how it was for you. That wasn't Avery. That wasn't the same Avery as sober Avery. You know, that's not the same. The Avery that you were in active addiction is not the Avery you are now, and it's not the Avery you're going to become. Because I'm going to tell you, from who I was in active addiction to right after I got sober to now, I can look back, you guys, and I have videos from a year ago, and even from a year ago when I first started making videos, you can see the changes in my life and how recovery and God has worked in my life. You guys, it's a healing process, okay? A lot of us struggled with just so much shame and insecurity and trauma and depression and mental illness, and there's just so many different factors that play into why a person starts using drugs and alcohol, right? And then there's so many factors that play into why the person continues and keeps going, right? Because I've heard of some people that start getting high and then one day they just quit. Have the chance a lot of people don't have anymore because they lost their lives to addiction. Exactly. And you know what? That's another thing that I really had to start looking at as addiction it's either going to kill me or I'm going to live, right? It's life or death, baby. You only have two choices. You can either keep on getting high and die, or you can choose to get sober and live. I know. And so Candy, you guys, she's been going through a hard time right now because she's got her daughter is at that age. She's 16, and she just shared that in the chat. So, but what happens when we have older children that they saw us when we were in our addiction, right? My little boy is young, but I have a lot of girls that I work with who have their kids are older, right? And they're going through that rebellious teenager stage, okay? And you got to understand, okay? Listen to me. They were hurt, okay? Think about it. That doesn't give them the right to throw your addiction in your face or be disrespectful or cuss you out, right? But I want you guys to look at it from this point of view, right? If you have older children who they saw you when you were in your addiction and they are acting out, that's why, okay? They're acting out because they were hurt and they missed you. But that doesn't mean that they can disrespect you. So family therapy is like the best thing that you could do. You know, get your child in one-on-one therapy, and then if you can get together with that therapist to where you and your baby girl can go in there in therapy together, man, that would be amazing. Because then you guys can build those lines of communication back up and work on repairing that relationship. You know, none of us are perfect parents, you guys. Okay? Sober parents aren't even perfect parents. People that were never on drugs are not even perfect, right? Parenting doesn't come with like a manual to tell you exactly how to do it, all right? We're all going to make mistakes. Nobody's perfect, okay? But working on that communication with your child and talking with them and letting them know, I made mistakes. I love you. I'm going to do everything I can to change and be better. You know, our children just want stability. They want to feel safe and they want to feel loved. And they want to know that no matter what, we're going to be there. So when we're on drugs and alcohol and we're running the streets and we're not there, think about that. Think about how it would feel to be 10 years old and your mom not come home because she's high on drugs. I cannot even imagine. I would be so afraid. I would be crying for my mom, you know? Imagine being in and out of foster care because your mom was on drugs. You know? So I kind of have to look at it from that point of view. You know, a lot of the times, even with my son, you guys, he was gone from me for almost a year. You know, it was a substantial amount of time at a time in his life where he was young and impressionable and still learning and growing, and that probably affected him. You know, I'm so embarrassed to see my grandma again. Last time I was so high, I broke her front door down and stole jewelry. She never pressed charges. It was 2 years ago. Oh, Avery, don't be embarrassed. Just like your mom, your grandma loves you, okay? And she just wants to see you because she knows you're doing good. You know, do not let don't let the shame and the guilt of addiction keep you from building back those relationships with your family, okay? Because that shame is just your addiction trying to keep you from going over there and seeing your grandma. If your grandma sent for you and she's 91, you better go over there and see her. And don't be embarrassed. Here's the thing. We got to stop being embarrassed, okay? Addiction is not this thing that we cannot talk about, right? I keep on hearing people like, oh my gosh, she talks about that in front of her kid? She talks about that to her family? She talks about that to her neighbor? You guys, I'm in recovery. I'm living my life. I have a testimony, okay? I have a testimony and I'm sharing how my life has changed with other people, right? Because that helps inspire other people to change their life, right? Addiction, we have to stop closing the door on it and acting like it's something to be ashamed of, all right? Addiction is a disease, okay? You were struggling with that disease because you were sick, okay? You were sick with the disease of addiction. Now you're getting better, all right? We wouldn't shun somebody who had cancer and say, get out of here. You got the disease of cancer. Go away. We don't shun people who have diabetes because they ate so much until they got so big that they got diabetes. I mean, that's a disease brought on by, you know, eating too much. What about smoking and getting lung cancer? We don't shun those people. Addiction is the same way. Why do we shut the door and tell people, shh, don't tell anybody that you're a drug addict in recovery? No, you guys, everyone knows I'm a drug addict in recovery. My boss knows, all my neighbors know, my whole family knows. I'm not ashamed of that today. Today, Nicole, I'm doing right today. You know, I'm proud of my accomplishments in my recovery. We have to open up the lines of communication and stop being quiet about our recovery, you guys. Hey, Nick, we have to stop acting like it's something to be ashamed of, right? Your recovery is amazing, and there's no reason to have to hide that, right? My boss is amazing, you guys. She knows I'm in recovery, and then my other boss, I worked with her on yesterday, and she's like, she knows I'm in recovery, and her husband just got his 10-year chip for 10 years sober from alcohol. So it's like, there's nothing to be ashamed of, right? We're making the proper changes that we have to be better. And that's what this thing is all about. If we don't talk about it, then other people aren't going to know that recovery is possible, right? And also, I'm going to share something with you guys. My mother-in-law, she's ashamed that I'm in recovery. She's ashamed that I'm an addict, okay? Of course, she's happy I'm sober, but she'd rather me not tell anybody at all. She'd rather me just not say anything and act like it never happened. But everybody knows that I was a drug addict. So, of course they're going to see I'm sober now, right? You can't just it away, okay? I'm not ashamed. And you shouldn't have to be ashamed either. If you overcome the disease of addiction and you get sober and you start living your best life, damn it, you better tell somebody about it. You better spread the message and let other people know that recovery is possible. Because there's got to be more people like us telling our stories, you guys. Because other addicts need to know. It's nothing to be ashamed of, okay? Shit happens, right? We all struggle. We're only human, you know? It's like this whole be embarrassed of it thing. If you're embarrassed of me, I don't need you in my life, you know? My mother-in-law has had to learn the hard way that I'm not going to be by anybody, right? Yeah, Kim, That's how a lot of people are, right? We have something to be proud of, you guys. Getting sober is a huge accomplishment. I want every one of you guys to be proud, okay? I want you guys to be proud. Hey, Pearl, and spread that message. It does. Because what it happens is, shh, don't tell anybody. Do you know how many people are dying every single day? And their mothers and fathers are having to write out their obituaries. And they're leaving it out that they overdosed. Okay? So I read one the other day to you guys from a girl that overdosed here in Arkansas last year. She overdosed, and her brother was writing out her obituary, and the mom went to read it, and it didn't say anything about her dying of a drug overdose. And so her mom said, "What is this? This doesn't tell anything about her life. This doesn't tell the truth, right? This doesn't tell that she was struggling with a disease of addiction. She couldn't get proper treatment. People were shunning her and telling her because she was on Suboxone that she wasn't sober, right? This is all these things that happen to people, and they stop and they turn away from getting the help that they need, right? Because of the stigma and the judgment. The stigma and the judgment from other addicts also. It's like, what? Right. There's and I've always been an open book, and that's why I'm so grateful for my mother, you guys, because you see my mom when she comes on here on my channel. She will get down in here with you guys, and she will comment, and she will ask questions, and she wants to be right in the middle of my recovery. She is my number one cheerleader. She is front and center asking me questions about addiction. Okay, my mom went out and she learned about what it was like. She learned about how to help me. She learned that enabling me was the last thing she needed to do. She learned that, she needed to take care of herself and, pray for me to get better. But she couldn't choose my recovery for me, right? And by having a strong mom who stood up to me and said, "No, I'm not going to enable you. Get your ass out of this house." That was the best thing that ever happened to me, you guys. Because if my mom had stood there and kept enabling me and kept allowing me to do what I wanted to, kept letting me live there, I probably would have died of a drug overdose in their fucking house on the bed. It breaks my heart when I see people act like, it's supposed to be this big secret. I'm proud to be in recovery, you guys. I feel accomplished. For once in my life, I have passion. Yeah, you know what, Kim? And a lot of parents feel like that. But you know what? You talk to us about it, all right? And eventually, we'll get your mama to come around. Because I'm telling you guys this. I never thought my mother-in-law would come around. I never thought she would come around. But you know what? She did. And she knows I do these classes on here on my channel. She knows that I am head over heels in my recovery. And she knows that, man, I'm telling you guys, that's what I had to do. I had to get busy. I had to get fucking on fire for my sobriety. Because if I didn't, I was gonna die, you guys. Right? Oh, okay, Avery. I love you, girl. I'm sorry. I don't mean to make you upset. I just don't want you to be ashamed. And because your mom is ashamed, or that doesn't mean you got to be ashamed. Okay, guys? Do not let do not let your parents or your loved ones put their shame and their embarrassment onto you. Okay? There's no reason for you to be shameful or embarrassed. Okay? Okay, girl. There's no reason for you to feel any kind of shame, okay, surrounding your disease, all right? Ever, all right? Reach out and get help, all right? That's what we have to do. We have to reach out. We have to get help. We have to push forward, all right? Addiction is something that millions of people are struggling with every single day. And shutting the door and closing the blinds and zipping the lips is not going to help anyone get better, all right? I can tell you guys from experience that talking about my addiction, sharing about my struggles, has saved my life, all right? Sharing my life with you guys and having this accountability It has changed my life forever. What'd you say, Candy? I didn't see it. My whole family is that way, even though they say they're proud of me. You know, and sometimes, you know what, Candy? So did you read up on gaslighting? A lot of the times, gaslighting happens in a lot of abusive relationships, okay, you guys? So let me give you guys some examples. A lot of people, have you ever heard of a narcissist, okay? A lot of the times when we're in abusive relationships, I was in an abusive relationship for about 6.5 years, okay? This guy beat me almost every day for 3 years. Towards the last 3 years we were together. He would beat me so bad, I would be in the hospital, I would have concussions. It was horrible, you guys. But while we were in that relationship, what he did was he worked on me and he gaslit me. And what he did was, he would move things around in the house, right? Like take my jewelry and put it somewhere else. And I would go to get it from where it was at. And I'd say, where's my jewelry? I sat it here. Oh, it was never there. I don't know what you're talking about, right? To make me feel like I was crazy, right? All the time doing things like that. All the time making me second guess myself. All the time saying, oh, you're doing such a great job. You look so great. I'm so proud of you. But really, he was trying to say he wanted me to lose weight. So he would always like build me up, and then crash me down and abuse me. And then build me up. And then, oh, you look like shit, you're not good enough, right? And that happens a lot in relationships that are toxic, right? But if you have a family member that you're living with, you guys, and this is what me and Candy were talking about the other day, and you have a cycle that has to be broken, right? So if you have a mother who didn't take care of you when you were younger, and now she's taking care of your daughter, right? Because you're getting sober and getting better. Then if she didn't take care of you, what do you think is going to change now with your daughter? Right? That's why we have to get better and step in and break that cycle, right? The whole family unit has to come together, you guys. It's so, and I wish there was like, I'm hoping that there's like counseling and free counseling in these places where you live, Candy. That's what I want for you. I want you to be able to go to family counseling with your daughter and sit down and talk and work things out with her, because that's what you have to do, you guys, with your family members, because addiction doesn't just affect us. It affects the whole family, okay? The whole family is sick in one way or the other. Just like in my family, my dad was very controlling, you guys. He had just a really bad problem with just OCD and micromanaging everything, all right? That was my dad. My mom was the fixer, right? She was the lady, she was coming in, oh, I'm going to get Nicole out of trouble. I'm going to get her. I'm not going to tell anybody. Oh, got to get my other daughter over here. My mom was saving everybody. My dad was the one who was controlling and getting mad and all that kind of stuff. And then you had my 3 little sisters. So let me explain something to you. In a family unit, each person plays a role. Have you guys ever heard of this? Okay. My little sister Michelle was the scapegoat, right? Okay, my other sister Christine was the clown, right? She was always like being comical. My sister Michelle always got blamed for stuff, and I was the older one, right? I was the oldest. Okay, so a lot of times in families, we'll all play our different roles, okay? And so that's how the dysfunctionalness of the family operates, right? And so, yes, so if you can get in with your family and have like a mediator, that would help so much. But first of all, we've got to get everybody on the same page, right? So Candy's sober, you guys. She's working her program. She's helping others, and she's doing service work, right? She's working her butt off on trying to find a job. Now we got to get Mama Candy on board, right? And then once we get Mama Candy and Candy on board, then we got to get baby Candy on board. And that's what happens. It's like we got to work on our parents and get them on the same page with us, so that way we can help our children. Because what's going to happen is we're just going to pass down what has happened to us all of our lives to our children, right? It's hard, you guys. There's so much that goes in to like the family dynamics of addiction, right? So many of us, a lot of the things that we struggled with and that we ended up going out and, becoming drug addicts for is like things that happened and chaos and trauma that happened, from when we were younger in our families, right? And so I recommend everybody and anybody that can to do counseling, to get into some kind of family therapy, because it will change your life. It will help you so much, you guys. If you can just open up and talk with your family without having to worry about them getting angry or judging you, man, it's just a good time. Now let me tell you, my dad, he's not down with all that counseling stuff, right? But what we did with my mom and me was me and my mom were able to open up those lines of communication and talk with each other. My mom went out and learned a bunch about addiction. I went out and learned about my addiction, and then we came back together. And as we heal our relationship, my dad opens up more and more, and he's healing with us. I never thought I would have my parents back in my life. I never thought my dad would trust me, guys. Sorry. I don't know who that was. I never thought that my parents would trust me, you guys. And today they do. And so it's all taken time. So that's why I want you guys to hear me out, all right? If you're in your first year of sobriety, do not get discouraged, okay? Please, just hang tight and don't leave until the miracle happens, okay? Don't get high. Don't relapse, okay? The first year of your sobriety is the rockiest, okay? Everybody's struggling, right? Your family members are struggling because they're scared. And that's what I want you guys to remember. Your family members still think you're going to go out and relapse. This is all about family roles. My family never would any kind of counseling type stuff, but it's also helpful as aware of those roles in your family. Right, Hannah, right, exactly. And so we'll have to talk about that more in depth, you guys, because I actually have all the family roles written down in one of my binders because they taught it to us when I was in treatment one year. But each person plays a role, right? Just like think about it in your family. Like if you were the addict who was always getting in trouble, like you were the person that everybody went to blame, right? And then there was always the perfect child who never got into any trouble. That was my baby sister, right? She was never got in any trouble. And so it's just, we will talk more in depth about that one day. But I want you guys to really open up to the idea of seeking out counseling for yourselves, right? First, take care of you. Go get counseling for yourself. And then if you can talk your parents into going with you, I'm telling you guys, it'll change your life forever. It'll be the best thing you ever did. And even though my dad hasn't gone to counseling with me, I'm telling you guys, like he's opened up to sharing more with me and talking to me and my mom. And it's just, our relationship is healing slowly but surely. I stole from my parents, you guys. I lied to them. I brought people into their home. I left needles all over their bathroom. I mean, it was bad. But I'm telling you, slowly but surely, my life is changing. We are healing. And if I can do that, so can you. So, anyway, I love you guys. I'm going to get off here and go check on Nate. They were told not to cry or talk about emotions. Someone I know is dealing with opening up, accepting that it's okay to cry and talk about it. You know what? And when you are trained to not talk about things, it's so hard to open up and learn how to talk about things, right? And so many of us are taught that. So many of us are taught that it's that we are supposed to handle this on our own. And you guys know what that is, right? Those older generations, that's that pride, okay? A lot of older generations have a lot of pride and ego. And yes, baby, I will. A lot of older generations have that pride and ego, right? And so that's just something I think that now that people, okay, I feel like the more, I feel like nowadays people are opening up more. Oh, Hannah, really? Yeah, you know what? My dad was the same way. He wasn't a police officer, but the only time I ever seen my father cry was when my sister had to go into the mental institution and when his dad died. And it was so, so sad. But I'm telling you guys, like, that pride shuts us off from the sunlight of the spirit. Y'all hear me? Pride will keep you from getting the help that you need. Do not let pride stop you from reaching out. You cannot do this alone, okay? Let me say that to you guys one more time, okay? Listen to me. You guys cannot do this alone, all right? We have to have support. If you could get sober on your own, wouldn't you have done that a long time ago? If you could have gotten sober all by yourself, you would have already been sober, okay? Do not listen to the voices in your head that are telling you you've got to do this on your own. Do not listen to those voices. Listen to what I'm telling you. You need support. You need other people in your life who can call you out on your crap. Oh, I love that movie, Avery. Well, you know what, Avery? Listen to me. Ultimatums, they suck. Because what they do is they back us up into a corner, right? But you know what? A lot of the times, we have to come to that point where it's all or nothing, right? I just don't want you to get to the point where you are on the streets and you're homeless and your family kicks you out and they don't have nothing to do with you. So that's why we're going to take the bull by the horns now, and we're going to get on track, and you're going to be just fine, right? It's going to be a little bit rocky at the beginning. You're going to struggle, but that's the thing, girl. Listen to me, okay? One day at a time. That's all we're dealing with, okay? Today, look, what time is it? It's 8:15, okay? You didn't go to a party. You stayed sober today, all right? That's what this is all about. One day at a time. What is Twin Peaks about? Ooh, my armpit itches. One day at a time, you guys. I'm telling you, please do not take in too much. One day at a time. Sometimes 1 minute at a time, okay? If you're struggling, Avery, all you have to do is call me. I gave you my phone number. You got to call me, though. You have to use the phone number. I don't know your phone number, or else I'd text you. Ask the girls. They'll tell you. I'll text your ass. If I don't hear from you and it's been about a week, I will text you. In fact, you can ask Hannah. I was just texting her on Instagram because I hadn't heard from her. But you guys, I try to keep up with all of you. There's a lot of you. Sometimes I get a little bit overwhelmed. But I'm telling y'all something. Sometimes I'm like, did I text so-and-so? And what's happening now, y'all, is it's getting to the point where I have so many of you girls. Like, I'm going to have to start making a checklist to make sure I check on everybody. And, you know, that's all I'm trying to do, you guys. I'm just trying to let you know I care. I'm just trying to let you know that somebody out here's, I'm rooting for you. I know you can do this. If I can get sober, anybody can get sober. Do y'all understand that? If I can do this, you can do this. Do not get discouraged. I know. And I'm telling you, like, I will do it to my best of ability, you guys. I will do whatever I can to help you, okay? To the best of my ability. You know where I'm at. I'm in another state. But if you're willing to reach out to me when you're struggling, I will reach back out to you. All you got to do is text me. Ask anybody. Just text me. I'll text you right back, right? If you text me and you say, Hey, have you been busy? Or are you busy? Can you call me in a little bit? I will call you. What's up, Whisper? You know, you can always get a hold of me. You know that. You can text me in the, and if you're a guy and you need support, holler at me on Messenger, okay? And I will help you with whatever I can. And if you need a guy friend, I have a friend. His name is Jeff, and he has a channel, okay? And his name is Jeff Wilson. His channel is called The Recovery, okay, guys? So if you're a man and you need support, you can always reach out to me. I will call you. That's fine. But if you need a man to talk to and you feel more comfortable, I've got Jeff, and I can give any of you guys his number if you need it, okay? Whisper, if you need Jeff's number, you just hit me up in Messenger and I'll send it over to you, okay? Because I want all my people to have support. So if you're a man, I got you too. I got you, okay? I have a plethora of resources. Hey, Dragon Lady. I have a plethora of resources, and we have like I said, we have the Real Talk Recovery Facebook group. So if you guys want to come over and start getting involved and connecting with some other addicts in recovery, come over and join us over on Real Talk Recovery, okay? Yeah, and Candy has been she's been over there doing morning meditations, you guys. She's been doing so good. And so you're always going to have somebody in there, okay? If Candy's not in there, I'll be in there. If I'm not in there, Candy will be in there. If Dragon Lady and her husband Reaper Man, they're going to be in there. Like, we got people in there that will reach out to you if you need to talk to somebody, okay? Okay. I love you guys. All right, y'all. I'm going to go upstairs and check on the little booger butt. And no, I loved it, Dragon Lady. I loved it. It was perfect. I loved it. Don't ever apologize for your posts being too long. I loved it. I love seeing you guys get in there and share about what you're going through and share about how you're feeling and share your writings. Share. That's what the group is for. If you want to go in there and you want to make a video and talk to everybody, just let me or Candy know, so that way somebody doesn't go live on top of you. But go on there. Good night, Hannah. I love you, girl. Go in there, make a video, talk to everybody. That's fine. That channel is that recovery group is for you guys. Okay, there's Jeff's channel, you guys, if you guys need it. Jeff's channel is called The Recovery. Annie just linked it for us. But that's and there's the Facebook group. Good job, y'all. Sonia. Yes. Thank you. So there you go. Come and join us, you guys. We're all in there just hanging out. It's open. Everybody's cool, okay? Like I said, nothing but love. You know, we don't do drama in there. We're just in there trying to stay sober and helping each other, okay, guys? And I want you guys to know, thank you for all of you guys who have been reaching out to me today. I love you guys, and I appreciate y'all so much. Everything's going to be okay. I promise you that. I love you guys, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.